just think next week, this time, we're going to be glued to our televisions.
I will be.
For real.
Yeah. Roxy will be crying. There will be a life-size cutout version of Rian on the floor next to her.
On the floor? No.
Okay, on the couch.
Painted on the ceiling.
Tattooed on her forearm.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, actually, I tomorrow we're going again to the exhibition. I'm so gonna try to just put him under my shirt and take him with me.
I don't think they'll notice.
Yeah, they won't notice at all.
I don't think they will.
She all brings scissors and cut his hair like a little. she like, I have a piece of Rian with me. Rian,
it's for scientific research. I need this.
I need to synthesize his DNA.
I just need a piece. Just a piece.
What are you doing, Roxy? I'm growing Rian in my lab.
Yeah. Yes. That should become a thing.
Tell no one.
They need to sell puppets, man. They need to sell like full life-size puppets.
Yeah, but you know how much that would cost?
Oh, I know. That would cost thousands.
Yeah, that would. Although I would love to buy like. But it would what?
It would be worth like every cent.
It would be. Dude, people have bought less for more.
Yeah, I mean, if I could get like that actual Rian, like with same everything, I would honestly sell a rib out of my body to get it.
And that sound is someone knocking on Roxy's door, going to take her to the hospital right now.
Yeah,
because she needs help.
Miss,
actually, that sound is somebody taking her up on the offer. It's like, you have a rib?
So what about 100,000?
Well,
how much is that rib worth?
I'm gonna get the Rian puppet.
So here we are again, I guess, talking Crystal Shard Conversations. It's kind of a boring name, but it works.
It is. Shoot the shard. Shoot the shard.
Shoot the shard. What's Ethan's name? It's something Nebri. What is it?
Oh, Nearsighted Nebri.
Nearsighted Nebri. That's a great name too. Maybe we'll retitle it the Nearsighted Nebri.
And I am the infamous Lance Strider number 2.
Riveting name, Doug. Riveting.
What happened to number 1?
He got more screen time.
So if anybody who hasn't listened to this is our second episode. Doug Bodine is the founder of Crystal Shard, the largest Dark Crystal fan community on social media. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So awesome.
And Roxy, well, I'm an admin in the group, and Roxy is our newest administrator. So welcome.
Yes.
All Madra Roxy.
All Madra Roxy, yes. Who's kidnapped Rian, and Rian is he's in a love jail right now with grapes and strawberries.
And blindfolded in her basement.
I know. Oh there's grapes and strawberries all around him. His feet are being tickled.
But that reminds me, I still have to feed him. I'll be right back.
Scary.
Roast Nebri, it's his favorite.
But I want to hear about you. Roxy was just at the BFI exhibit. She was there today. She was there yesterday. She's going.
I want to hear all about it.
Me too. I want to hear all about it. So tell us.
Oh, it's so awesome. Like if you walk inside, on the right side there's the Emperor Skexo is standing there, and he is so creepy. Like when Alvaro and I were there Thursday, we could get really close to him because now it's like with like a ribbon or something that you can't get too close, but I could take him away if I wanted to, but we were just they're so lifelike. It's creepy in a good way, creepy. And if you walk further, there's Mother Algra standing there. She's huge. She's big.
How tall is she?
I'm 161, and she is, I think, a bit smaller than me.
Wow.
So they're really big. I mean, when you walk up the stairs towards the exhibition, first you get to see all the props, like the molds for Brea and Rian and Hub as well. same for Hub's lower body. You could see the Hub booty.
The Hub
I
butt.
saw that.
See a
The Hub butt. Hub's
I
butt.
was like, what's that used for?
You probably see
don't-
a bottom in the show. I bet that'd be cute.
Oh, that would. Well, it's actually it's kind of old people bottoms, really, but it's cute. It's cute. And if you walk,
And they had the Pufflum, right? They had the Pufflum with the remote.
yeah. Oh, it's so adorable. And they have a few, I think, 5 or 6 other animals from that are being used in the series. They have them on display. And there's everywhere like little signs with it that say, we'll just give some information. And there are like 70 new animals in the series coming.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's really awesome. And they're also it's like everywhere around you. And if you turn around, you have the Chamberlain's arm is in like a glass box together with I think, I'm not sure if it's Brea or Rian, but it's like the first mechanic arm. Then you have the mold, and then you have the actual Gelfling arm. And also one of Deet's wings is on display. And like I took pictures of it, and I think Alvaro uploaded them of like the plastic book with all the drawings and designing. And it's gorgeous.
I know. I've looked at every single one of them multiple
me too.
times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's really cool, and it's so detailed. Like the little drawings. It's like they're designing like a house for someone, and they're really not taking this lightly or simple. It is so complex, and it's gorgeous. And if you walk further, there's actually the crystal.
Ooh, how big is that?
Yeah, it's so cool. And if you step close to it, you hear thunder and lightning, and you hear the scientists screaming about taking someone's essence.
No way.
That's awesome.
Were you allowed to do video? Were you allowed to take video while you were in there?
If I'm standing next to it, it's kind of I think it's about like my full size, and then maybe a half of myself.
Wow.
It's huge.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
That's
But
bigger
it's
than I
so
thought.
it's huge. Like I think Alvaro is like 1 meter 90 centimeters or something, and I think he's the same size as the crystal.
Yeah, Alvaro is 6'7" for Americans.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's huge. Like when we were walking together Thursday, he takes 1 step and I have to take 27. It's insane.
That's hilarious.
Don't walk
I'm
so
not even-
fast. What are you talking about?
I have small gelfling feet. Don't leave me. No, but if you walk past the crystal, there's a Chamberlain with the banquet, and he's holding something, and there's just roasted nebries actually on the table.
That's
Nice.
great.
Yeah, and we got to put on robes. I think we took.
You got to
pictures
put
with
on
it.
robes?
And
yeah,
sit
like-
right next to it.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, that was so cool. And a funny man Chamberlain is. He's really hilarious. We had a great time having dinner with him. But I think, I'm not sure, but I think I wore the gourmand. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, so I'm sorry if I don't.
That's how I say it in my head, so it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. But I think I wore his, and it's just it's so cool. And once again, he is so like they're creepy, but it's beautiful. It's weird.
So
yeah.
there were actors or people who were in the production there. Did you get to meet any of them?
Yeah, I actually met the puppeteers. I met them. I talked a bit to Neil, the puppeteer of Rian.
Oh
And-
yeah,
And so I was like, oh my god, I love him so much, you know.
I love him
um,
talking during the documentary that we see.
Oh,
How he explains about how the puppeteers by nature hide, and that the puppets are the ones that everybody remembers. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
like what he said about the piano as well. Like they remember the musical piece, but they like forget quotation mark about the piano.
Yeah, that
Like
was great.
I really like that quote, and that's how it is. But they're such wonderful guys, and we got to take a picture with the puppeteers.
Saw that.
And, yeah, they're hilarious. They're so much fun. And yeah, of course, we met Louis. We got to talk to Nathalie and to.
Why does everybody else get to talk to Louis except for me? What's going on? Like, everybody gets to meet Louis, and Louis this, Louis that, and I'm like, who? I never met the guy. Oh,
Maybe
yeah, Louis. Louis and I go way back.
Well,
Just
maybe
be
you
patient,
should
Doug. It might happen.
you should color your hair green as well. Then he'll remember, like he'll recognize you. That's what happened to me. Like when we were standing there before, I was holding my hand out to introduce myself to him, and before I could even say hello, he was like, "Oh yeah, I know you. You're the girl from Facebook with the hair." I was like, "Oh, okay."
From Facebook with the hair.
Yeah, the hair. Okay, thank you for that compliment. That was so awesome. And yeah, we got to talk to Lisa Henson a bit.
Oh,
And well, during the Q&A, Alvaro asked a question, and he was like, "Oh, we're from the official Facebook Dark Crystal fan club," and she was looking like, "Oh," and she was like clapping. She was so excited. It
That's
was really
awesome.
cool.
I think
Yeah,
it's fun that people are calling us the official Facebook fan club.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
what we want. Excellent.
Louis
Excellent.
started it. Louis started it. He was like, "Yeah, they're from the official fan club," and Alvaro and I were like, "Okay, we're official
Louis
now.
said
Awesome."
it. Louis said it.
Yep. So let it be written. So let it be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's done.
Should have filmed it, but I was like, oh my god, okay.
But he
Okay.
did call Crystal Shard out by name during the panel on stage.
Yeah.
We're legitimate,
Yeah.
everyone. We're legitimate.
Yeah. This is not just a small thingy. We're official.
I'm curious, Doug, like, what do you think about, like, what you've seen? I mean, like, there's been so much released, like, behind the scenes. What's exciting you the most?
So I have not read any of the J.M. Lee books, and I don't know much about the characters other than what I've read online. Everybody talking about them, and so I think that all the things that I've seen, and there have been a bunch. I mean, we've seen all of the Gelflings. We've seen a bunch of the clips. We've seen the Skeksis. We've seen the beautiful landscapes and the backgrounds. Yeah. And I still feel like I have no idea what's going to happen in the story. I don't think there's been anything given away by any of the things that have been posted or shown so far. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's really good for people like me, you know? Mm. And the things that I saw at the BFI were outstanding. I mean, I remember seeing the World of the Dark Crystal, the making of it, the original. Remember that, Jaime?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have it on my computer. I watch it all the time. I love it.
And they show things like that, like the behind the scene things of the Gelfling arms and the things that are going into make the creating the Skeksis and things like that. And I felt like the BFI just went right back to it. You know, it felt exactly the same.
Yep. I think part of the draw for Dark Crystal and Age of Resistance is the magic behind it. And even though, like, we've been posting photos of, like, puppeteers and puppeteers with their puppets, and even though we understand that's Neil Sterenberg, I think that's his last name, and that's Rianne, I still see Rianne as something completely separate from him. It seems like it's he's just on Neil's shoulder. Like, that's how real these things are. And so understanding the magic is amazing.
It's like because his performance is so...
like he's helping Rian, basically.
Yeah.
Like pushing him up to reach something, or, you know, like just being a little help. It's so real. It's gorgeous, really.
Well, and the other thing is, you know, we talk about all of the work that goes into it. In just the little bit that we've seen for the behind the scenes, you can feel the love and the passion that have gone into creating this. and
Yeah.
the detail that they look at because they want to make sure that it is right for us.
Mm.
And I feel that.
Yep. Yep.
Even though I
True.
haven't
Yep.
been able to see it firsthand, I
Yep.
still feel that. And that's
Yeah.
very cool.
You can feel the honor and the respect, and that they really, that's what it's all about. It's about honoring and respecting what has gone before. It's not about watering it down or changing it. I mean, obviously
No.
it's different and it's going to be a larger world, but it feels completely authentic. Like, I don't, even though I have seen more than anyone in terms of like fans,
Mm.
I also feel like I don't know, like you, Doug, I don't feel like I don't know anything. Like, I've seen a ton of stuff, but most of it was out of context, and most of it was being played quickly. But I was enthralled, and I was like, oh my God, but it felt like, for instance, there's this, I won't tell you what the scene is, but just generally, there's this scene in the show, in an episode with Rianne, and he's walking in the woods, and it's at dusk, and he's going somewhere very familiar to all of us. And I was just like, it was so beautiful, so dark crystal. I couldn't even, I was sitting next to Louis actually when they were going through all of this stuff. And I was like, oh my God. I was saying that over and over, and then I'm like, I gotta shut up.
Yeah.
But it's just like you said, Doug, though, it's like just the love and the time and the amount of work that has gone into the show to deliver us something that feels like it's always been here. That's what's amazing about it.
It's what Taryn said, right? He said you could put them side by side and you would feel like they were both part of the same world.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
So
really,
that's
it's
really
insane.
what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
And I used to have these, worries, many months ago, but not now, that it wasn't going to feel right, maybe, or things were going to be off, or things were going to be changed just enough that it wouldn't quite feel like the original. But I have to say that everything that I've seen and everything that I've heard, I no longer have those feelings.
no, you will not be disappointed. No, no
Yeah,
words.
you've seen the episode 1, right?
Yeah, I did.
So without spoilers, how did you feel afterwards? Like, was it overwhelming? Were you out of breath? I know I was.
Yeah, actually, when it started, it started, and so did my tears.
No.
And it's so extremely well put together. It's how to not spoil anything. Oh my God, it's just beautiful, and it feels like the movie, like it's just brighter. It's
so let's
more
talk about maybe
color.
some of the things that people might have reservations about. So, like, does the dialogue seem forced? Because puppeteering, you could get that feeling like maybe the dialogue just isn't quite as rich as the surroundings.
No, not at all. I mean, some things happened. That's non-spoilery.
Some things happened and somebody said something.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said words, and someone else replied to that. And no, but it's so natural. It feels like with the movie. I mean, I love the movie, but for example, I don't want to go alone. 2 seconds later, all right, alone. That's always been a weird, like, could have been better. Sorry. But I mean, it's for me right now, it's flawless. It just works so well, and it's so natural, really.
How many episodes did they let you watch? Was it 1, 2, or just 1?
8. No, I don't know.
All 10.
We saw them all together. It was I'm actually only been home for like 2 hours. I just went I've only saw the first episode. But I can't wait to watch it again Friday. I can't.
I'm going to be watching all of them, and I can't imagine how many times I'm going to watch all of them again.
I know. Yeah,
I know it's going to be a lot, though. People in my house are really going to hate me.
Worth it.
Hey, Doug, have you been able to see the Henson tour?
The traveling museum part?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, you should go.
I know there's one in Atlanta, I think, and there's one in New York. Is that it?
Well, the Atlanta one and the New York one are permanent. I mean, they're permanent galleries, but the Henson portion, the Dark Crystal portion, isn't permanent. I think there are some in New York that are permanent, but there are some from puppets from Age of Resistance that are going to be placed in the gallery for a little while for people to come and see. But then there's the traveling exhibit, which it's been in LA. I think it's in Ohio or someplace like that right now.
I live in Washington State, and nothing ever happens here.
Hey, at least you guys are getting something. I have nothing.
Oh, come on, you have. Stop it. You have the BFI. I never want to hear you complain again.
Oh my God.
We have nothing.
Okay,
I just have the
BFI. Then.
I just have the BFI in, London, where it's all been filmed, and stop it.
But what's interesting is I was able to go to the Jim Henson traveling exhibit at the Skirball Center in Los Angeles, and of course there was Agra, there was the Chamberlain, there were Jen and Kira, and a few other small things. But I didn't want to leave the space, and I know you know what that feels like, Roxy. Like you feel like you're home, you feel like you're standing with friends. I don't want to leave it. Like I couldn't leave it. I would just keep walking back, and that's what the Dark Crystal is. It feels like home. And
it does.
It's a world that you just want to live in. Like these days, especially since we're so close to the release, we're just in groups and we're talking, and then we have Crystal Shard, and it just feels so much like home to me.
I had that in the beginning of the first episode when Jaime, the beginning. I was like, you're coming home. That's really. Yeah. That's how it feels like. You're coming home.
I can't wait. That's how I want to feel also when I go see. So we're gonna go off topic here. I want to feel that way when I go see. What's it called? The Star Wars.
Oh,
Galaxy.
Oh, what is it called? Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge. Thank you. Yeah. I keep wanting to call it Galaxy Quest, and that is so wrong.
With Roy Scheider.
Different movie. Yeah. But no, I want to feel the same way when I go there. I want to feel like, oh, I've been here so many times before, even though it's the first time I've ever been there.
Yeah, it's just home. It's safe. That's also really it. You're feeling safe and connected, and
that's so cool. It's going to be nice to know that after 37 years, you can come back to this and go, I know where we are.
Yeah, without a bat of an eye. Although, Doug, has there been any scene that's been released? I know you posted a little 7-second clip of Deet lighting the fire. And
I love that scene.
Me too.
I don't know why that scene is just so perfect for me, but it's so simple, but wow.
Yeah,
but so there is a scene that I want to see. It's between Rian and the Chamberlain, and they're in the Skeksis mobile. I don't know what we're calling it, but there's this dialogue that goes back and forth between the two, and I know that Chamberlain talks to him about something very important, and I want to know more about what that is, and I'm really looking forward to that scene because that's kind of it's something that we didn't see before. We get to see these kind of guys in their in this element where things have not gone crazy yet, and they're talking to each other. They have a dialogue, and I want to see that. I want to see what that normal was before the world goes haywire.
Well, actually, the scene you're talking about, because today they also had these voiceover things you could do if you wanted to, and this is, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you could choose to voice over 3. You could make a decision out of 3. Alvaro did the one with with this carriage you just described.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 2 different ones. One is the one that I did.
At the feast?
Yeah, that was new.
I like your voice now.
I actually haven't listened to it yet. I hate my voice so much, so I haven't listened to it yet. But
it's going to be funny to see that scene and go, "Hey, that's not how it sounded." That's not Roxy's voice.
Well, actually, I chose that one because I felt like, yeah, I can pull that party for me or celebrate me. I could pull that off. That's how it felt. But yeah, it was those 3 scenes, and yeah, I'm also looking very much forward to the one you described, Doug, with Rian and Chamberlain. So, well,
yeah, I have a feeling that like we're not just going to get like this some plot points. I mean, I think we're actually going to get some pretty philosophical things in this series as well. That kind of make people think, not just go, oh, isn't that pretty, puppets? Oh, isn't that a cool story? I think people are going to also get some things out of this that they think about after the series, and that's what I really hope for too.
Yeah. Also, I think a lot of people, because there are so many Gelfling. I mean, we've seen the official pictures being released, how many there are going to be, and I just know you're going to feel like to at least one of them, you're going to feel emotionally attached.
So I don't know all of their names, but there's the one Gelfling with the scar on his face. Who's that guy?
The older
Well, don't
one?
tell him who he is. Like,
No.
Don't tell him who he's related to, though.
No,
I just want to know his name.
Oh.
I just want to know his name.
Ordon.
Oh.
Ordon.
Is it Ordon or Oron or something like that?
No, I think it's Ordon.
He's the one that does that spinning sword move, right? In the
No.
Yeah.
No,
Isn't
that's
that
Yeah,
him?
that one.
I think that's Rianne that's spinning with
No,
the sword.
No, I've looked at it.
You mean when he turns around, not in the air, not the one
Not
in the air?
No.
Oh,
When he
okay.
turns around, when he does like that
No,
spinning.
not the
Yeah.
parkour.
Yeah. And that's another thing right there too that has me really pumped to see this. These action scenes look outstanding.
Yeah, I'm
Gelfling
so
spinning,
to see
jumping
that
through
one.
the air.
The hunter running.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Skeksis running. I'm so excited for that.
Like the most we ever saw was them like shuffle,
Yeah.
Shuffling to the crystal. Oh, the crystal calls, everybody shuffle.
That's the
10
great.
years later, we're here.
That's the great thing about just even episode 1 is how much of the castle you see, how big it feels. The castle feels absolutely huge. And then
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a spoiler at all, but for instance, you go into Skektek's laboratory and it looks exactly the same from the first film. It doesn't look, I mean, there's a few things that are, the layout's not the layout, but there's a few things that are different. There's some things there, but it's the same place. And it's like, oh my God, we're back in this place. It's just amazing.
Well, and there's a lot of time that happened between this story and when the story of Jen takes place, right?
Actually, I've heard that from what I've read, everybody's being cagey about how much time. Like even Lisa Henson saying,
But
well,
it has
we're not
to
really
be
saying
some amount of time.
Oh,
right?
there is amount. Yeah. But it shouldn't be too hard to disbelieve that things changed in the castle over that amount of time. So if we see something and go, oh, that's not how it was in the movie, well, of course not, because it's before then.
I know it's a prequel. Of course, you're going to see things that will
That
or
looks
will
similar,
not be
but not
there,
quite
or
the same.
you recognize so much, and it's really like, oh, it's almost like you've actually been there.
Do we get to see more of the castle? Do you think more of the interior shots?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Because I think what have we seen in the movie? We only saw like the throne room, the bedroom, the feast, the hall, the hallway where they walk, and Skektek's laboratory. And the basement, like right where, like whatever that's called, the I don't know what it's called.
Like the kind of the dungeon area, or
the underneath the castle passageway.
The underbelly. Yeah, you see the castle. You will see the castle like you've never experienced the castle before ever. Yep. It is. I mean, the whole. Oh my God! It's just breathtaking. Like, again, I keep thinking about it, and I feel like I haven't seen it, even though I've seen it. Like, I want to see. I can't wait to see it again to feel like, okay, this is real. This is happening.
Yeah,
it's still
I
not
was
happening
also
for me yet.
like Elvira and I, we were sitting there waiting for it to happen, and I kept saying, "I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I'm okay. This is happening." And in an hour, I've seen the first episode. I'm fine. This is totally normal, just an everyday thing. It's so
I'm not crying.
surreal.
You're crying.
Well, and also that you guys got to meet the director, the voice actors, some of the puppeteers, Jim Henson's daughter. I mean,
rub it in, Jamie.
Oh, I didn't get to see. I mean, the only person I've met is Louis. But and yeah, it's been.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you that you got to do all that stuff. I'm glad people are out there and meeting all these different people. That is so cool.
I want to say one specific thing about Louis, though, really quickly. I think we all might know people who, oh yeah, I met so and so who used to work on, or who was in this movie. You see him across the street, or it was an accidental meeting, or you hear stories about people, and oftentimes you can meet people, but you feel like you are an outsider. Like, even as amazing as, like, I mean, when I was at the San Diego Comic-Con, I was surrounded by all these Henson people and some of the people I'd met before, but I could still feel like I'm an outsider with them. They don't, they're very, very, very kind, wonderful people, but you just feel like an outsider. With Louis, I never felt like an outsider. He spoke to me like his friend. He spoke to me and treated me like everything that I was a part of is important and important to the show. And like, I felt like I'm on this journey with him. And
yeah, you're right.
And other people, and oftentimes, like in fandom, or like, you know, there's official pages for things, and there's people behind that social media, but oftentimes they're throwing out content, but they're not engaging with the fans. And as someone who works in social media marketing every day, how you establish community is by making human connections, not throwing content out to people, and not, it's being really genuine. And Louis, every step of the way, has made genuine human connections, and I've never experienced that. Even as nice as everyone else has been and kind, again, you feel like there's this distance between them and you. Like, they live in a world that I will never be a part of. I would love to be a part of, but but with Louis, you feel like you're a part of that world. You feel like you're important to it. You feel like we also have this hand in bringing this show to the screen in our own way. And it's just, I can't go on enough about that. And I'm not someone who's starstruck. I'm not someone who's like, oh my God. Like, they're just people like you and I. They go to the bathroom, they get up in the morning, they drink their coffee, they go to work. It's different kind of work.
Thanks for ruining it for me.
But I think it's really important to really outline how unique he is as a person, and that people in the system in Hollywood do not act the way he acts, and that's part of what makes him a really great person. So
yeah, I mean, it's like what I said before, Jamie, when I said people with their dresses and everything, and Louis was just wearing his white sneakers, you know.
I think we should talk a little bit about Crystal Shard, though, just a minute. That we're just about at 8,000 members.
Yeah, we are. That's so cool.
It's amazing. We're like 13 members away from 8,000 again. And I love saying this just because I think it's awesome. We're the largest Dark Crystal community on social media, period. And
really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
And a really, really wonderful fact about this group, our group, is that the larger percentage of people are women. And I'm in I'm in Star Wars groups, Alien groups, all sorts of fandoms, all over Westworld, everything. I have never seen or experienced what I'm experiencing in the Crystal Shard in terms of membership growth, in terms of women, in terms of just the loveliness of the chat, how friendly everyone is,
I know, right?
how much of a community it feels like, and most of that I attest to Doug and his sort of just your friendliness and just kind of wanting to make a really wonderful space for everyone. And to be a part of this, to me, is as just as special and important as it has been to, seeing the film or spending time with Louis. Like, all of this feels like such a wonderful thing.
Well,
yeah.
So I mean, I love the Dark Crystal. I love it a lot. And things like, bullying, or things like not letting people fit in, or things like, the outside political world and all that fun stuff, it has no room in the Dark Crystal. And that's why I wanted our group to feel that way too. I wanted it to feel like everybody is welcome, everybody has a voice. And even if it's a new person or it's a person that saw it in the theaters from the very beginning, we all have the same love for it. And that's what I want the group to continue to feel like. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's, we're living in a time where there's a lot of toxicity in fandom. There's a lot of people who are entitled. Competition. But also the more important thing, I think, is so much of that toxicity has forced a lot of the people who are involved in these films and projects to leave social media, to leave Instagram, because they've been bullied by the fans who feel like they own it and they're entitled and F you and all of these things. And I just feel like...
I think of Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose Tycho. She's such a beautiful person.
Oh my God, yes.
And I love... Okay, I've said this before. I'm going on record. I love The Last Jedi. I thought it was a great movie.
Me too. I
loved her character, and I do not think that she deserved any of the backlash that she got from supposed fans. And the fact that she had to leave social media because of it is heartbreaking. And
that's so sad.
It's very sad. It's very sad because I liked her character. I don't think she was what people are calling her, the Jar Jar of episodes 8. I mean, come on, Jar Jar, really?
And the weird thing too is okay, maybe you didn't like her character. Leave the actor alone. Like, she was just playing a character. Not her fault. And even if, it's just weird. And it's not just Kelly Marie Tran. That behavior has prompted so many actors and filmmakers off of social media because they've been bullied by some people who follow them. And again, what I love about Crystal Shard is that we are a group that is not about bullying or belittling or political posturing. We're really just about love and about fandom. And even if we disagree, or maybe everyone won't love Age of Resistance, maybe they will, but we can hopefully talk about that in a way where it's like, I love you as a person, or I respect you as a person, as a fan, more than I feel like I have to bully your opinion because mine is better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and I'll be first to say it too, that if we see anything that has to do that is centered on hate or centered on making, just picking on another person or anything like that, we will squash it. We will go in there and we will mute that person. We will remove that person. We'll remove the post because there's no room for any of that. And I don't think that that's being heavy-handed or policing in any way. It's making sure that the community stays nice and safe, happy, and there's no room for any of that stuff.
Yep. The world is full of chaos, and I feel like if there's other places you want to go to make political posts and rants, and really it's not so much about like censoring or quieting voices. I think it's just sometimes in groups, like in order to make a group feel like a home for people, you have to put some guidelines in place, and that's just how it goes. If you're gonna, and if I were gonna go to Roxy's home and start knocking things over, she's gonna be like, "Can you please not do that?" Same with Doug. Same with me. So this is our home, and for us, we feel like the guidelines that we have in place, that Doug put in place, are to really make the community the best. And really, we have had essentially no issues. It's been really amazing. A couple things here and there.
We've had some one-offs, but we've gotten them very quickly. I felt that those rules were when I started it, were like the most pertinent ones, because we see some other fandoms, we see some other groups, and they didn't have those rules in place, and they were just kind of like free-for-all stuff. And people were all over the place. And so I felt like, okay, if I wanted to do my own group, what did I not want to see? And those were the things I didn't want to see those things.
Yeah, I think I wrote it in a post, the term "look what love can do." I really believe that. Like, if you create an environment that is sort of full of acceptance, and I know a lot of people might, or the wrong people perhaps, might be like, oh, social justice warriors or safe spaces or whatever, but really those things are really true. Like, safe spaces are an important thing where people can go and they can feel like they can, you know, give their opinion without feeling like, oh, I'm stupid for this, or they made me feel stupid. And you know what? The honest truth is, I've been involved in toxicity before in terms of like the alien groups that I've been involved with, because I do 2 other podcasts aside from the Trial by Stone. I have sunk into toxic behavior online before. I really have. And actually, it was a good friend of mine named Patrick, who is a partner with me on my other podcast, who sort of helped bring me out of that. Not that was who I was, but it's easy to sometimes jump aboard a wagon and just get really angry because you feel like you own something, even though you don't. Maybe you feel like a connection to it, but that doesn't mean you're an owner. So I've had to learn lessons too about not having to feel like I have to respond to everything if I disagree with it, and letting people have their opinions, you know? I guess I felt like I have to kind of like say, I've made mistakes. I've been less than kind before on social media, absolutely, and I've had to apologize for it, but I've had to learn from it too. And I feel like Crystal Shard is really this place where it's like the flower of all that learning. So
nobody's perfect as long as you learn from it.
No, but it's also, I mean, shocking. I'm just obsessed with Rion in a healthy way, but
real.
No, I mean, I think it was yesterday. It was Thursday when I saw the exhibition. I mean, I saw him. I took pictures. I came here. I cried when I saw them. I mean, I just love him so much. And I posted those pictures, and with the post as well. Like, I know I've said it, I don't know how many times, but I just love him. And everyone is just being like, not being like, yeah, you said this already. It's just, yay, good for you, you know, just really supportive and nice and friendly. And that's how
I look forward to the next Roxy Rion post.
Yeah, they're no one's making fun of you at all. Like, I mean, I know I like laughed at those photos, but like I love Deet the way you love Rianne. Yeah. Like, I keep thinking the way
you all love those.
Yeah, like I wish Hot Toys would make a Deet that has real hair with like that looks just like the puppet. I would buy that shit. Sorry, I'll bleep it out.
Yeah, I know, right? But I mean,
she would be stuck to your hip, Jamie. You'd be saying Deet.
I would just pluck off her. I'd pluck off her
my
wings.
Significant other Deet.
I'm not gay for Deet. Yeah.
No, but I mean, the group is just so. Oh, and also when you announced me as a new admin, everyone is being so supportive and nice, and also with it's just a lovely group here. I'm not just saying this, but it's just so many wonderful people, and I really hope we can keep this up and just kind of be like just one. Like everyone will find their own clan and everything, but it's kind of like our own little resistance, quotation marks. Like, we're all bonding together, you know. Even if you're Skeksis fan, Mystics, you love Augra, you don't feel connected to a character. I mean, you just like the series or the movies. That's awesome. It's just one big group, and that's so awesome about just the Crystal Shard.
Or you have an unhealthy infatuation with Rhea.
She's like, what? How dare you?
Yeah.
Unhealthy. No, I'm just kidding.
To the crystal.
But I like hearing things like that. I really do, because that means then that we're doing the right thing. You know?
Yeah, but it's true, for real. It's my of course I check the page every 20 minutes, but also I like seeing people who post something, or just pictures, or even if it's from the BFI or just a book, or actually yesterday someone posted their new phone case, you know, from the Dark Crystal, and
I saw that.
I know, just do that.
I love when people get excited about it.
Yeah, it's such a I just can't even believe still that despite the experiences we've had with you going and meeting people and all that, like, here we are about to get almost 10 hours of Dark Crystal. How did this happen? How did Netflix gamble on this very unknown property into this probably one of the best fantasy shows to ever be released? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
it was practically forgotten, I would think.
Yeah.
Because there have been many conversations where I've had with people like, oh yeah, like the Dark Crystal. And they're like, what? What's that? Never even heard of that.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then I look at them like, what do you mean you've never heard of that?
Like,
Actually,
is it with David Bowie? No.
Oh God, no! Please don't get the Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal mixed up.
People do all the time.
I know they do.
Or they confidently say, "Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, David Bowie was great." Like, no, you haven't. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. Leave. Go.
Just
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm 27, and almost no one my age knows it. I mean, I dragged 2, maybe 3 of my closest friends, I think 4 maybe, into the Dark Crystal, hyping them up, you know. I mean, just see the movie, and I've been sending them all the trailers and pictures and screenshots and everything, and even they didn't know it, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm getting excited about the 10 hours." And my friend who is with me right now in London, we're gonna watch it together the whole weekend. And another friend was like, okay, we're gonna binge watch it together. And so just, I like hyping people up, you know, people my age and who never heard of it. It's just, watch it, look at it.
I actually can't wait to see what happens to the fandom after the 30th.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
God, yeah.
Because I think people are going to be like, what is this? Where did this come from? And then they're going to watch it and be like, holy cow, where did that come from?
Yeah, this is gorgeous.
I will say, again, I'm involved in a lot of fandoms. I have never in my life, even when there was an Alien film coming out, seen the kind of growth that I am seeing in Crystal Shard in any fandom and any group anywhere. I cannot explain it. I don't understand it. I've never seen this before. I want to understand what's happening. And of course there's algorithms set in place for active groups. Yes, that's true. But I've been in other active groups. I've never seen this type of thing before, where we add 3,200 new members in 28 days. We're just doesn't happen.
New members a day.
Oh yeah, now probably we'll be at 8,000, probably in about a half hour or maybe or less. We probably get 15 requests for membership every 5 minutes. No joke. You guys know this.
True.
I woke up yesterday morning and I approved 72 members. 72 members.
Whoa.
It was crazy.
Just overnight.
It's amazing. It's a phenomenon. It's a miracle, and I really hope people love this.
I think it's so funny because Jaime, when I started the group, I was going to be happy with like 25 people.
Yep.
I was going to be like, there's 25 other people that I could talk to Dark Crystal about. This is going to be great.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Yes, it did.
It did, and now we're like at 8,000 people, and I'm like, I can't even. There's no way I could talk to every single one of them.
Well, you will tomorrow.
I would love to, but
like being the biggest, like you started it just, you know, like what you said, maybe just with 25 other people would be great. I mean, it would be done, but now it's the biggest Dark Crystal fan page on Facebook. I mean,
on all of social media.
Yeah, I mean, that's just great.
Yep.
It's great.
And not only that, we have people in the group from the show. Donna Kimball's in the group. Please leave her alone.
Please don't approach her.
Who is Agra. And we have other people in the group from Netflix, from Henson, quite a few other people. And to have their attention is a really special thing. And I feel like it's an honor to sort of see them like or comment or love something. It's just great. And have them feel comfortable enough to do that too. Because sometimes those people don't feel comfortable. Sometimes like you're getting another group and it's kind of all over the place and you're like, oh boy, this is embarrassing. Like, I don't really belong to this group. I'm just here, but I belong to it, you know? So.
Well, and we also have some legacy attachments too. I mean, we have people like Toby Philpott who were actors on the original Dark Crystal.
Timothy Clark, who was a puppet builder on the original. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got an entire breadth of people who are connected to the past and to the future of the Dark Crystal, and I think that's outstanding. I really do.
Absolutely.
And it still blows my mind. It still blows my mind.
All right then. Well, people, we'll see you guys again in another off-the-cuff episode of Crystal Shard Conversations.
Shooting the shard.
Shooting the
Can you
shard.
imagine the next time you're actually doing this, the series are out.
I know.
Oh my God, yeah.
We'll be able to talk about it.
The next episode, we're going to be live from the garden of Roxy and Rianne's wedding.
Awesome. Can't wait for that.
The Skekmobile has been turned into their carriage. The crystal, the castle is now.
The shard is her ring. It's
The
like-
shard is it's implanted on her ring, so it's a large ring.
And there will be so much Stone in the Wood pale ale being served. I mean, Rian brew it all. He's been at it all day. I mean, it's like he just comes home and he's like, honey, I'm home. And then he just goes straight back. And it's crazy.
That means
You know what?
the
way the
twist
world
might-
is right now, it'd be like Roxy married Rian, the puppet, and we're like, yeah, okay.
That's normal for her.
And the twist is Roxy's
Oh, God.
Jen's mother.
Okay, it's time to stop. We need to stop.
Actually, my friend who's here with me right now, she said before, you kind of like resemble Jen with the hair and everything. So there's a spoiler for you.
Spoiler alert.
So we do know that Roxy was destroyed by Gartham later in her life.
Uh-oh.
But I've been revived.
You've been revived. Yes, we're in the past right now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Right on.
people.
Okay, we'll be done. We'll be
All
done.
right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening,
All right.
everybody.